Well, hello everyone and good evening. This is your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring as well as You Can Tutor membership. Tonight is going to be one of those nights. Um because a few things were happening this week. I even forgot to do my own two tutors talking. um, but I really want to talk to those teachers. So if you are a teacher currently just sitting here scrolling by and you just want to say, oh, let me see what this lady wants to talk about, please stop on in. This is probably going to be the live for you. It's going to be more so of a wake up call for my teachers. Um, got some really crazy news, but if you're like teaching and you want to go into tutoring, please come on in. Hey Paige, how are you? One of my former clients is here, which is basically family to me. Coming in, we got a few people coming in. Hey, how are you? And all the guides, hold on, I keep forgetting I gotta scroll over there. There we go. Hey Christina, hey Kathy, hello everyone. TikTok is up and happening right here, right now. But if you are an educator and you're thinking, you know what, it's May, you're done. You're just like, you know what, I rather take a boat ride to Ipanema and just live off the land. Like all this stuff that I'm doing is all kinds of crazy. Oh, good. I'm so glad, Paige, that things are going well. I mean, you're an amazing person, so I know you'll figure it out. But if you're one of those people that are just like, you know what, I want to be able to do something to be able to get some kind of advancement, like get some movement. What is my purpose? And I know a lot of educators, you guys, you wear tons of hats because I used to be in the classroom. I understand. It's only been 4 years ago. I feel like it's been a lot longer, but I feel like we put in so much and we get very little. Very little. They can sugarcoat it. They can make us breakfast. They can give us pizzas, but that's just to nullify the realness. And the reason why I'm really kind of going off script tonight because I don't want to keep pushing my my membership, which is coming in June, the You Can Tutor membership, and also now I'm working on a course to help people transition from being a teacher to actually being an effective tutor. Thank you. And yes, you do the same, Paige. Thanks for stopping in. Hey, Linda Brown. It would be so funny if it's a Linda Brown that I know. Um, but when it comes down to getting all these, really basically, how should I put it? We had to bury, on Wednesday, I buried a former colleague of mine who was a teacher. Perfectly fine. Everything was great. So one day, 2 weeks on Wednesday, he wasn't feeling too well. Then he was like, was talking to other teachers. Oh, I'm just not feeling very well. Then later on, went to the hospital and died. He was 51 years old. And I know the school that he was currently working for, they were having so many different things, so many different changes going on. But I felt like his death was kind of put on the back burner. Like, okay, let's not deal with this. That's how it felt. I don't know if that's how it really was, but that's exactly how it felt. And I just feel like no matter how hard people try, it just seems like you just can't get above. So that's why I was putting out the videos about the positivity. Like that's going to be my new, I don't want to say my new niche because I always done positivity things. Is that Suze? Hey Suze, how are you? Thanks for coming in. Um, but it just seems like we keep hearing so many teachers talking about, oh, school is crazy, but I just get through it. I just keep pushing through it, and it's fine. The summer will be here before you know it. Now, all that anger and all that tension, you keep it to yourself. You internalize it. You go out on Fridays, maybe on Saturdays, you get a little bit of tipsy and all that stuff. You keep it moving. Hey, Andy. But then all of a sudden, It's time for you to come back on Monday. What happens? You have that anxiety on Sunday. All those feelings crep up. All those feelings just keep creeping up. Hey, Matthew, how are you? It just seems like no matter how hard you work, they always want more. And who's they? They is administration, the district, the parents, sometimes the kids. They always want more, even though you give them almost everything to the point that you have nothing left for your own family. So then you start thinking, okay, what could I do? If I do leave the classroom, what can I do? Where do I go? Because I'm going to be truthful, people, you're replaceable. I know it sounds harsh to say it like that, but it's the truth. You're replaceable. When one person goes, another person comes in. It's just like in McDonald's. When someone says, I quit McDonald's, you don't think they have a whole pile of resumes just waiting for the next person to come in? Because that's what they do. When you don't own and do your own business or your own strife and your own things, that's what's going to happen. You're always going to be at a point where they either really love you and don't want to let you go, or they will use you until you are 6 feet under. And I'm sorry I have to be that aggressive, but that's what's happening. We have teachers dying left and right. Healthy individuals, and they're dying of stress. Think about the month of May. There's testing that's happening, especially if you're English and math. You are on the pivotal point of how this school is going to be operating. What type of students are going to come in here? Because you're all based off of the test scores. And the test scores are based off of what happens in math and English. And if you have some kind of clusters, like if you have a certain degree, if it's more art based, if it's more phonics based, if it's more, display of anything, okay, you have those special things. Maybe a special sports team that was state champs forever and ever and ever. But no matter what, those are secondary, hence the word extracurricular. And when you're not really affiliated with the extracurricular, everyone keeps forgetting about the curricular part. They focus so much on the extra. So when you're gone, you're easily replaced. So when this happened, I got word backhand. And I was really upset because we're the same age. We were working together at the same time. He was on F Hall, I was in C Hall at the time. And he was just a nice enough person. But it just seems like people are dropping left and right, and not because they're being hunted or they're being, attacked or abused. Hey, Michelle, how are you? It's just personal internalizing stress. And I personally do not want to have to go through this stress anymore. I figured out, I was like, look, I had a mini episode at one of my schools, to the point that I wasn't hospitalized, but I had to be like, you have to be no more in school. Like, that's it. You have to take a day. You have to take a week, not a day. Like, taking a day doesn't do anything. Just like you have to be a week away from the kids, away from your phone, away from TV, nothing stimulus whatsoever. And if you want to stay in bed, you can stay in bed, but you could not move. And for me, I'm a type of person, I like to move. I like to groove. I like to get things done. But I couldn't, because my body was telling me, you are overworking yourself. You are doing too much. And then what happens when I was gone and I came back? They piled more work onto me. Oh, well, we need this and we need that, and you weren't here, but okay, we saved it for you. Like I want more work. No one does. So when it comes down to, I know today's topic was like, can people make money off of tutoring? And the answer is yes. But here's the thing that drives me is not so much the money. It's the fact that I'm helping a young man or a young woman to get past a barrier that has probably been burdening them for years and be able to take it and move to another level of comfort. I had a new student on Saturday, last Saturday, and it just seems like he was very reluctant to come to the session. The whole parents like he needs this, and the kid's like, it doesn't matter. But he reluctantly came into the session. But after 15, 20 minutes of us working together, all of a sudden I can sense that he was feeling better. He was asking guided questions to help his clarification. Before it was like, yes, okay, yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. Now he's like, but how would I do it if this was the situation? He started asking me more of those type of questions. That's when I know I got you. That's when I know that student is really understanding what's going on. So when I get that and the student really wants it, and thank you, Michelle. I know commonly overworked in education, overworked and overstressed. Yes. And having a little mug that you get for Teacher Appreciation Week is just not enough. It's not enough. But when this young man at the end of the session, he went to his mother and says, I wish that she was my teacher. I would be an A student right now. But the amount of confidence that he was flying high the whole entire week. He was starting to do stuff, starting to basically, the parents all change. And they're like, what did you do to my kid? All I did was taught him how to do quadratic formula. That's it. That's it. But because I removed that burden, I removed that stigma that, hey, yeah, your mother didn't do well in math. That means you have to do terrible in math. No, it's not hereditary, people. It's really not hereditary. But because he had someone that was able to break those concepts down. And sometimes the people that you want to help, you're thinking they're right next to you. The people that I'm helping, I mean, most of them are out of my state, and I'm in Maryland. I'm helping people in Alaska. I'm helping people in England. I'm helping people in Florida. I had 2 people in Florida yesterday. I had 1 group in Maryland today. I was in Massachusetts and Virginia. And I didn't have Nairobi, Kenya this weekend, but I'm all over the place. All because I took that first step. Have you guys, if anything, put in the chat. I mean, if you're a tutor that's here, please put your information in the chat, because you never know. There might be someone that's looking for your info. So that's one. But for those that are watching, or those are just kind of stopping in, is this resonating with you? Like, did you ever feel like, were you a teacher in the classroom? If you were, like, what was the feeling? Or what is the feeling like right now? Because I know the kids are stressed. They want to achieve, they want to push, but sometimes their minds just will not let them, because they have so much going on at one time. But when I hear everyone's, you focus on the children, because I get that. But sometimes people don't focus on the adults. You got teachers that are teaching 3 different levels of math in a year. You got professionals, even principals. There's so many policies, and all of a sudden it just takes one kid that, like, I thought it would be funny. Next thing you know, like, dude, you're almost trying to burn the school down. Or no, it's not funny because this caused harm to this kid. And then you have to protect every child. Like, in education, it just seems like no matter what, you're always going to be 4 or 5 steps behind, no matter how hard you try to move forward. So that's why I do those posts of positivity. That's why I tried to share my tips of what I did for me to transform from being a classroom teacher to being an online tutor, which is awesome. Hey, Alexis. Um, Classroom teaching was like juggling. Yes. So many needs and different ability levels. Yes. Limited resources. Definitely. Even though, although I should say, although parents try in the beginning of the year, I remember when people are like, oh, here's a ream of paper. People, that ream of paper will be gone by the end of the week, if that. And I mean, I appreciate it, but my thing is, I will never forget there was 2 years in a row, two whole entire academic years. I spent over $5,000 for school supplies, for projects. And especially if you're at a project based school, you have to spend a lot of money. Yep, Kleenex. Oh, Kleenex and hand sanitizer. Before the pandemic happened, I was the one that would literally will get the big. This is before what is it, Walmart. All of a sudden, I used to get like the big thing of hand sanitizer for less than $4. I mean, like it's almost like back in the day when gas was less than $1, right? That's how old I am. Um, so okay, thank you. TikTok is like, we're notifying viewers that you're live. Thank you. Uh, but it just seems like I used to get that big container with the pump of the hand sanitizer. I used to get, now I was classy with my tissues. I would get the Kleenex with the aloe because I was concerned about their noses. That's how I was. That's the teacher that I was. Um, I would get lotion because kids are ashy. I would get deodorant, small portable ones, so they can take it and run with it because they're not reusing deodorant. Gross. Um, but I would do that. I would buy packs of paper, packs of notebooks, binders, loose leaf paper. I mean, grid sheets. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Just paper in itself. Yes, I worked at a school where I had to buy my own paper. Hence, that was easily like $1,500 right there. Easily. That's spent on paper. Because of the resources that we got, it didn't match with my kids' abilities. So, me as a teacher, I had to make that decision to transform my kids. I had to do that. But if you don't have a teacher that's willing to do that, willing to pay for it, willing to go, your kids are out of luck. But every time I'm moving forward, you know you got those haters that are always trying to bring you down. And they are always the ones that pair up with everybody else. Hey, Andy. Hey, Em. And it just seems like when you do this whole thing called tutoring, I was really able to reconnect with my teaching skills again. Yes, I have emails. Yes, I do have meetings. And I was the one that set up these meetings. I don't have admin just unlocking my door, coming in, jiggling their keys, and causing all kinds of ruckus while my kids are actually being productive. Sometimes they were the distraction. And I had to always play the middle person to try to even things out because the kids respected my classroom. I was the classroom that I was actually able to have like a small air freshener to make it smell good. And they're like, "Ooh, it smells so good in here." I was the one that had the Clorox wipes and constantly wiping the desk off. Disgusting, but wiping the desk off. And the magic eraser, when that came out, it was fabulous. But here's the thing. After a while, it was wearing onto my heart. Till one day, hey Jen, till one day I almost basically had a full blown panic attack, is what they like to categorize it. But I don't know of a panic attack, last time I checked, shooting up and down my left arm. I was overworked. I wasn't eating right. I couldn't exercise because every time I turned around, I had to do something for the kids. I wasn't taking care of me. And you always hear from the students, especially around this time, maybe around June, when you're trying to wrap things up, and you always get kids, "Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm just trying to talk about tutoring and talk about education." Um, and it just seems like the kids of the next year, the following year, they'll come up to you, especially if you're one of those teachers that they see you're hardworking. They're like, "I can't wait to have you next year. You can't leave." Because everyone knows a lot of the good teachers leave and they don't know what to do. And you're sitting here like, okay, one more year. And then the following year, okay, one more year. And next thing you know, you've been saying one more year for 20 plus years, for 30 years. And guess what? The feeling that you have is still the same. You're still overworked. You're tired. Now you're taking antidepressants. Now you're trying to self medicate. You're going through it and your family feels it. You're not feeling yourself. And then you're constantly saying, "What is my purpose? Why am I doing this? What's going on?" And then all of a sudden your body shuts down. I don't know. So the only thing I can think of is I want to do what I've been doing. I had to do research because I knew something had to change. I had to go on to those two places, Google and YouTube. That's where I went because that's what they had at the time, to type in careers. Okay. I need careers. What are the careers? Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. What are the careers for former teachers? And as I finished typing that out, like, what are the careers for former teachers? And I'm like, but I don't want to be a former teacher. I have given up way too much time, way too much energy, way too much money to become a teacher. I have given up weekends. I have given up holidays. I have given up so much. And taking that blessed praxis exam 11 times just so I can be a teacher. Just so now I got to turn around and say, what am I got to give all this up? And I know a lot of educators feel the same way. I don't want to give this up, Audrey, because I know this is my niche. I feel like this is the reason why I'm here. This is how I exist. And I feel the same way. And I looked at the different options that they had. Be a VA. Yeah. It was always somebody like I have to be a part of somebody's group. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I have given so much of my time, my energy, my heart, my soul to other people, and they keep disappointing me. So the only one that keeps standing up is me. So I'm like, all right, what is it something that I can do? And then there it was, online tutoring. And the first thing I thought, just like you guys, are like, yeah, that's something like the kid down the street or a local college kid that's struggling. That's what they do. They tutor. But it has transformed just like everything else in the society, guys. Education is a big ticket item. It is a billion-dollar business. And the way that education is being on the front line, these kids need support just to get through it. And not only in elementary school, not only in middle school, high school, even college, and even adults. How many of you guys are going back to school because you want to get that promotion? How many of you guys you might know people that are going back to college because they're like, you know what? I want to feel like I accomplished something. And they get in there and they register for their classes and they take their first class. And after their first class, they say, this is not for me. This is hard. We're talking about stuff I haven't seen in a while. Who's going to help me? It's going to be me. Right here. Especially the math part. English, you would surely fail. I don't want you to fail. But because of what I did, I left the classroom because I wanted to save me. And I still see a lot of my educators, and I know someone's got to stay, Audrey. I got you. But when you're staying there, don't complain. Because my whole thing, that's when they'll appreciate you. I hate to say it. That's when they're going to appreciate you. When almost every teacher becomes an independent contractor, that's when they're going to appreciate you. Because we wouldn't have military, we wouldn't have any kind of disciplinary, we wouldn't have any of our political representatives if they didn't have a teacher. Socrates had one. Everyone had a teacher. Everyone had someone to guide them, to instruct them. How did they know this information? How did I know this information? Because I had a teacher. Because I've seen what other people do. I do their research. Now we have the internet. We can look all this stuff up gladly and willingly at any time. I can wake up at 2:00 in the morning and look up information and be able to advance and to grow. So the reason why I'm here live and I try to be here with a purpose is not only for me to save my life, I want to save someone else's life. I do. And I know a lot of teachers, you're just like, all right, I'm just counting down the days. But here's my thing. You're counting down the days not only for how many days are left in school, but you're counting down the days to your own life. Is every day a countdown? If it is, why not enjoy it? Why not do something that you'll have a student that never got an A ever finally gets an A, and because he or she worked really hard and all you did was guide them in the right direction? And I know people will say, well, isn't that what their teachers are there for? Teachers are dealing with so much. We got 40 kids in the classroom, if that. The biggest class size that I had was 41. Some people have 26 in a class, but they have so many different personalities, it's almost like double that. But we cannot internalize the stress anymore. You only got one life. You only have one life. Even if you want to do it part-time, you can do it part-time. Hey, Richie. So you can do it part-time. And that's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. But you have to want to make that change. I see you guys every Friday. See you in the club. Because I'm in the club. I see you going to the bars. I see you going to other places to look for enjoyment. And that enjoyment, you're cool. But guess what? You're going to have to eventually get back in your car and go home. Eventually, you got to get back to that classroom. Eventually, you got to deal with that kid again. And that kid. And that kid. So I see, hey, Demetria, girl, you're speaking the truth. I'm trying. Because I really and truly don't want to lose another teacher just because a healthy teacher, and I know it was because of stress. You can't sit here and try to tell me that it's not because of stress. We have to figure this thing called life out. You only got this one life. And I know a lot of people will say, well, self-care is only for a couple hours. I'm talking about you need your whole life to live, to be able to be free to do whatever you want to do. Look at the bills that you have, making the decisions that you want to give. You want to travel, you can go ahead and travel. But at the same time, when you go to these places like the bars and all that stuff, you're going to escape. I don't want to live my life escaping. Are you in Nova Scotia? No, I'm not. Sorry. But my whole thing is I want to live this life of just feeling free. Just being free. I don't know when my life is going to be over. But all I know is when I get to that point, I want to say I have done whatever I wanted to do and I felt comfortable with it. And I was with the people that were around me. I have touched so many people's lives. I want people, when they say my name, I want them to have a smile on their face. It's like Audrey has reached out to me. She was awesome. I loved her. She had the smile on her face that just lit up the whole entire room, but she was knowledgeable. And, you don't want to mess with her. You don't want to get on her other side. But at the same time, every time you needed her, she was there. Either it was a video, if it was a post, she'll just send a message to you. That's why I want people to remember me. I feel like my purpose is to bring people together. And if it is in tutoring, let it be in tutoring. If it is like you just need to brainstorm, I'm here to help brainstorm. But you have to want, or kind of have to figure out that, you know what, you're on this wheel and eventually you want to come off. Yep, you want to come off and you want to move forward, because I don't want you to waste your life. Every single solitary day that you're just like, oh, come on, Friday, you're wasting your life. For me, sometimes I forget it's Friday until I look at my schedule. I'm like, oh, okay, I have that kid. Oh, it must be Friday already. Wow. Sometimes I don't even know it's 4:30 in the afternoon until I hear the ice cream truck while I'm driving by with the music. I'm like, oh, it must be around 4:30, because they come right directly at time. But because of that, sometimes the concept of time gets away with you, but then I stop for a moment to reflect on what I've done. Like today, I had 4 students. 2 of them, they canceled because they're like, we're not doing much of anything in class anymore. Not a problem. That's fine. How are you? What are your grades looking like? What's going on? What's the next step? And we sit down and we talk. And then all of a sudden the parents come on and they're like, everything that you're doing with my child, thank you. Because I'm seeing a different kid and their grades are reflecting it. And I see how he's being responsive and I see how she's being responsive. That's all I want. That's all I want. But I want this for you as well. I'm one of those sick and twisted people that care more about others than myself. I know it's something I'm working with. But this is why I do the things where I love tutoring. I do. I love doing the instructional things. I love celebrating with them. I love seeing them like, oh, this is easy. And hearing that concept more and more each and every time we meet, I love that. And I'm not just helping kids down the street. I'm helping kids in other states. And it's just so warm. And this is why I do it. And I want you to experience the same feeling if you're an educator. Even if you're not an educator and you really say, you know what, I really like what you're saying, go ahead and share the live if you want. I don't want you to do something that you don't want to do, but if you want, share the live, entertained. Because I really and truly want you to understand that there are alternatives. And eventually, don't wait until you're in your 50s and 60s to realize, oh, okay, I got to learn a new way of doing things. Because that learning curve is rough. I never thought I would ever lose my cool points until somebody said something to me and I was like, what the hell is that? And they're like, I'm like, oh my God, I know that look. Because I used to give that look when I was a teenager. And I'm like, geez, I'm old now. But I look good. No, I'm just kidding. Not to be conceited. But the reason why I started the You Can Tutor membership, and I'm just going to be blunt, is I wanted to give a place, a home for a lot of tutors or even transitioning teachers, a place where that's going to give them ongoing support. So not just like once in a while, like constantly. You have a place, if you got a question, you got a place to go to. You have a person to go to. And learning things, sometimes people learn differently. So it's tough for them to catch up when there's a 6 week or 8 week, 10 week or 12 week program. It's almost like seems like it's just never enough time and there's always something missing. And in order for you to get that missing piece, you have to spend a lot of money, which is great because you're investing in your business and that's what you should be doing. But there's going to be times that you don't really have to spend ten to $20,000 and you're still feeling lost. I don't think that's fair. So with my You Can Tutor, I have like 4 things that generally goes on. So one, I'm working on getting my course finalized because I'm going to launch everything June the 1st. So I want to get my course finalized so people can go at their own pace. So first thing we're talking about is mindset. Then we're looking at the business plan. And sometimes your business plan doesn't have to be a thick whole dissertation about your whole life. You just need the essentials to kind of keep you on the level like, all right, am I progressing or I'm degressing or, it's definitely not going anywhere. Then you're taking a look at your ideal clients. Who is your ideal clients? And get to know their pain points. Get to know where they're coming from. Because what you're actually going to be doing is you're going to try to build a relationship with these people. If you're just going with the whole tutoring thing and you're just trying to do just to get money, yes, we are getting money, but you're also helping someone make a change. But if your intention is just solely on money, this is not the thing for you. Please continue on. Go kick rocks. Okay. But for me to help somebody to change, to build a relationship, to build not only a name for you, but also to build a name for someone else. And then after you're doing that ideal client, now you're really getting to know you. Now you need to understand the marketing piece. Now you need to understand the business side of it. And then we do a lot of things. We have what's called a collab workday that we meet each and every, well, not each and every Saturday, but every other Saturday. We do a collab workday where there's a question and answer session. Then you can share on what you need to work on. You work on something with your business for 45 minutes. Then you get feedback the same day. So that means when you're done with the collab workday, you can take whatever you just worked on and just apply it immediately. There's no wait. Then I also have something called the how-to session. Everyone knows, okay, I got to get on Instagram. Well, how are you going to do it? Oh, I got to get on Facebook. Okay, how are you going to design that? Well, I want to do a social media post, but I don't know how to create one. So we take the time. I take an hour and I show you step by step how to do a post, how to do something on Instagram, how to do a flyer, how to start your own Google business profile, all those little things. So we can actually break a lot of those concepts down. So when you're doing all that, then sometimes you just need something else. You need the business side of it. Everyone knows how to teach. If you've been teaching for a while, you know the concept inside and out. That's hands down. You got your way of doing things and you go with it. But it's the business part that makes a lot of people scared and they go running. So when they're scared, they freeze. Imposter syndrome jumps at you. All of a sudden, you got the fear of perfectionism. Oh, I got to have this website perfect. It's got to be perfect. Okay. And then you freeze. So when are you going to launch it? Oh, I don't know. So you spent all this money for someone to make your website, but you haven't published it yet. Why? Because you're afraid of being successful. You're afraid that you're going to be ridiculed. You're afraid that it's not good enough. You're going to be missing something. Nothing's ever one and done in business. You're constantly evolving. Everybody's like, well, you have to have your brand kit. It has to have a certain color, a certain style. You need to have all that before you can start promoting. Why? Get an idea what colors you like. You know how many businesses have rebranded and more than once? So stop. And most of the people that are hammering their ideas in your head, they don't even have a business. So what are we talking about? But they love you and they want to protect you. Really? I think you want to keep me in the same ideal as you because that makes you feel better. You got to deal with that too as a business owner. Sorry. Not sorry. So when I have this membership, it's not based off of time. It's based off of what you want from your tutoring business. Like, what exactly that you want to get out of your business? How many clients do you want to do? What type of clients do you want to do? And then we talk about it and we build a community of other like minded, driven people that want to excel in their business as well. So it's tough, but you're not going to be alone. And whenever you just need some assistance, you could just up and go, right? You can always go and talk and chit chat and move forward. But if we don't, where are you going to get that support? It's great to have accountability partners. I have accountability partners. They're amazing. But if we are both in the same level of lost, how can we move forward? Wouldn't it be great to have someone that has some experience that could actually is always learning? Hell, I went to a learning workshop about LinkedIn today, which was fabulous. And if you're not, everyone should join Scores. If you're thinking about doing a business, everyone should join Score. SCORE. It's for small business owners. It's a free service. And they have they're always doing some presentations about something to help build your business. So that's one of the gems that you should definitely be putting in. You should put that in your arsenal, as well as Google Business to help promote it. Because the more activity you do in your Google business profile, the more Google will boost you up. And that's going to be another video that's coming out soon. So you want to basically, if it's not tutoring, figure something out. Figure out what you like to do. If you love to draw and you feel that you have the essence of being an artist, do that. If you want to play a musical instrument and you have a feeling for that, do that. But I know, Orgy, but I gotta eat, I gotta feed myself, I gotta do it. I'm like, yes, you could do that. You could always do this part-time. And you're like, well, Orgy, I don't have time. Literally stop yourself. Take a real close evaluation of your day. And I will bet you cold hard cash that you spend a good 5 hours a day watching TV, watching someone else's dreams come into a reality. Think about it. I can sit here and tell you so much about Housewives, Vanderpump Rules, the Hamptons, all those. But if you're spending more time watching other people's dreams come true, that means you're not making your dream come true. You have to make decisions. You have to make choices. I know you're trying to do things for your family. Yes, you can still do things for your family. All it takes is an hour to 2 hours a day. You dedicate that time, because any other time you'll stop and you think like, okay, what can I do? What can I do to reach my students? What can I do to make this business more? And I don't want to say evergreen, because I believe there's no such thing as evergreen. You still have to put work into your business. It's just like a child. You can't just give birth to a child and say, all right, good luck, kid. No, you have to nurture it. You have to love it. You have to develop speech of communication. You have to teach how to walk, how to travel, how to go from one point A to point B, because eventually that child is going to have to learn something to grow away from you. And I know a lot of parents don't want to hear that. It's hard when kids are making that transition. Because one minute you're saying, I remember when you were born, and now you're graduating from high school. Where did the time go? How many times have you said that to yourself, especially this month? Quite often. So Couple things. And I'm going to wrap this one up. Yes, I'm actually going to end a little bit early, actually in 45 minutes. I really want to help those educators that are just like, look, I need something that's going to give me some extra funds. What can we do? How can I get started on tutoring? I know I just need to get clients. There's more to it. Okay. There's a lot more to it. And it's not so much just getting clients, but it's also keeping clients and have those clients being really loved and appreciated, that now they're going to be ambassadors for your business. And then you won't have to market as much, but you still should market. So, how to really get started to get on the good foot, and especially during the summer, because as I said, June 1st, I'm going to be opening up my You Can Tutor membership as well as the course. So you can learn how to do things step by step. And as you go through things step by step, then if you want to come into the membership, you can ask questions and join us with our events. So when you're coming in, you're not by yourself. Now we also have like a section where you can have just all the math people. If we want to all just meet, just math people can meet, and English can meet, and social studies can meet, and Spanish can meet. But then we also have times where we all meet up and give everyone space to speak and to be heard. That is my dream. That's my utopia. That's what I want. Not only for you, but also for me. So if you are interested, just go ahead and message me, because the price, I'm going to have it all situated, and I will be doing a special sale, especially for those teachers. And I'm only going to be having it on the month of June and July. Okay. So the months of June and July, I'm only going to have like a special price. After that, it's going to be at its real true value. And I'm not talking about the Harvest store. Okay. The hardwood store. All right. So once again, this thing called tutoring is not a hobby unless you make it into a hobby. If you only treat it once in a while here and there, yeah, it can be a hobby and you will be getting hobby type money. But if you give more of your heart and your soul, more of your processing, more of your step by step, this is a true full-fledged business. The more profit you make, the more so it's a business. If you're just breaking even, it's a hobby. That's the difference. So if you're just breaking even, I'm dead serious. I'm talking to those tutors that are probably listening and not really chiming in. If you are going in and it's just breaking even, it's a hobby. I want you to be able to make it into a business. I want you to earn some profit. I want you to feel comfortable in what you are doing and how you're going to progress. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would love for you to have a wonderful evening. I will be here again next Thursday. Hopefully not so much bad at the world, but I do care and I really want you to achieve and I want you to grow and I want your heart to be filled with every desire that you ever wanted. I want the best things for you. So if I can help you, if you just want me to sit down and brainstorm, we can do that as well. But for right now, I want you to enjoy the rest of your evening. And I will be seeing you guys next week. If you want, you can go to my YouTube channel, Audrey Codner, to look at some of my past episodes of You Can Tutor. If you are looking for a tutor and you're just like, I don't know who to pick, I interview so many tutors from around the world that are willing to help you, elementary, middle, high school, and also college level. All right. So have a great one, and I'll talk with you soon.